So, listen to this.
Mike Sommerfeld.
Mike Sommerfeld.
Mike the Badass. Mike Sommerfeld, who placed 8th at the last Olympia, almost dethroned Chris Bumstead this year.
He made a name for himself today.
For me, I kind of like him over everyone.
Mike came in shredded with sharp lines, insane details, and crazy glute striations. He came in better at the finals, and he even had the first place vote ahead of Chris Bumstead, and Meany felt like he was deserved the win.
Mike made me a believer that maybe he can take it.
Chris actually looked a little bit worried.
Bumstead didn't have a good ab shot.
He quite literally beat C-Bum in many of the poses.
You compete every year, 5-6 years in a row. I don't care. You start slipping.
Could it be that Mike Sommerfeld was robbed this time? Let's break it down.
6-time Olympia champion, Chris Bumstead.
Now, let's talk about something strange that happened before the show. Just a few days before the Olympia, Mike was a guest on one of my favorite bodybuilding podcasts, the Menace podcast by Dennis James. But for some reason, they were really rude to Mike during this episode. They spent a lot of time making fun of him, and half the jokes didn't even land.
This is super high-end design. It has
super high-end for $7. Come on, go somewhere with that.
It's $7.99.
It looks like a $6 shoe. Mike, why do you always wear those long-ass socks?
I was going to ask that question.
Hey, Mike, what is your picture? I mean, that was great. Thank you for showing.
We don't have a home since 3 years. We're just basically traveling.
Like a gypsy.
You computer savvy, huh?
Why do you guys wear the hats inside the house? With the sunglasses, too.
How old are you now? You're still so young, right?
I would not say young. I'm 30 already.
Okay. Still young.
You're young.
It wasn't a good look, and it felt like they were doubting him from the start.
What's your personal goal?
My personal goal is to not think about things I cannot change.
Stop it. Tell me, do you have a goal? Every time you go to bed, you have a goal. This is where you want to see yourself.
Everyone has a goal, Dennis. My dream. What I was dreaming since I was 11 years old. I wanted to win the Olympia.
I would think as a German, your first goal would be the best German coming out of this show, right? Milos is laughing. You know what I'm trying to say.
So let's make a bet. Every one of us has chosen their champions. The one who's closest gets a dinner from the other 3 guys.
So 3 dinners.
3 dinners.
Oh, 1 dinner shared by 3 guys. Which way you want it?
I'm gonna win the bet anyway.
They even accused him of photoshopping his pictures, and when Mike tried to explain, they just laughed at him.
I found out 2018 that I have a gene sickness, so all my skin came off. You could pull my skin from my body. My body is not able to produce hemoglobin. If I go out in the UV light, it reacts like a chemical burning and it destroys my skin. My skin just came off and it took like 1 or 2 weeks to heal. It's not that bad anymore. I just don't want to have more scars. It looked very, very ugly.
When you take a pictures are forever. You know, you can roll down those socks just for a picture and then roll them back up, you know.
Yeah, but I don't care about the socks. I like them.
Yeah, but we don't.
You used to have the girls wear the socks all the way up to here. I love that shit.
Mike also discussed the beef between him and Urs during this show.
Oh, you don't like Urs, do you?
We had a good conversation yesterday, and basically we don't hate each other. It's just a lot of media in between. I told him yesterday, and I asked him why he blocked me on Instagram and every other social platform, and he was like, yeah, I just feel pressure on Instagram. That's why I avoid following other athletes.
I love this podcast, but they definitely missed the mark in this episode. Now let's get into the competition itself and see if Mike was robbed from winning. Mike brought that wow factor. He was bigger, fuller, and more conditioned than ever before. His lines, symmetry, and flow were on point. He came out with an unbeatable front double biceps that made him stand out in the lineup. Though honestly, I think it would have been better if he shaved the beard. It hides some of his traps and a bit of the finer details in his upper body. Mike joined Chris Bumstead and Urs in the final call-out, where each one of them got a chance to pose from the center. The battle continued into the finals, and the judges clearly favored Mike over Urs, giving him the chance to go toe-to-toe with the champ. Mike gave Chris a real challenge. It was a close fight. There were only 3 points separating them, which is the closest anyone has ever come to beating C-Bum. Not even Ramon came this close last year.
And Chris actually looked a little bit worried. He didn't have that confident look on his face.
If you compare him pose for pose with Chris, you can see that he quite literally beat C-Bum in many of the poses.
Could it be that Mike Sommerfeld was robbed this time? We'll take it pose by pose. First, the front double bicep. Chris wins in terms of lats and muscle maturity, but Mike had a smaller waist, slightly better biceps, and a fresher looking quads. I'd give this to Mike.
He had extremely massive thighs, wide shoulders, an incredible taper, and it's absolutely unbelievable to see the detail and size of Mike Sommerfeld.
Second, abs and thighs.
Bumstead didn't have a good ab shot.
Nope.
And he would turn into the vacuum abs.
Quick.
I was thinking, okay, hit it 3-4 seconds, let the judges see you have abs, and then turn into the vacuum. But he was holding, and more he was holding, the worse was looking.
Both guys were amazing here. Chris had a better vacuum, but Mike's abs were harder, and his quads were out of this world. I'd lean towards Mike in this one. 3. Side chest. This goes to Chris without a doubt. His side chest pose is iconic. While Mike's chest was bigger and his lower body was more striated, but he doesn't have the classic look in this pose. He looks more like an open competitor here. 4. Back double bicep. This was super close. If you just look at the backs, you can give it to Mike.
When they turned around, it was all Mike.
Yeah.
From the back, he was dug out. I mean, everything was there.
But Chris had a better arm definition from this side. Mike takes the glutes, while Chris had the thicker hamstrings. I'd call this a draw. 5. Favorite classic pose. Both guys looked incredible, but this one is all about personal tastes. Personally, I'd give this to C-Bomb. 6. Most muscular. This isn't a mandatory pose in classic physique, but Chris dominates this one, no question asked. 7. For the posing in general, I think Mike had a better posing routine than Chris.
He put a lot of practice into this routine. This is beautiful. Wow.
Man. Oh, he's got to be happy with this, guys. Oh, 100%.
He brought it.
To me, he was more of a classic poser than Chris. Again, this is my personal taste.
But structure-wise, I go with Mike all day long, all year long.
All lifelong.
Lifelong, yes. Wow.
Also, during the show when they were relaxed, Mike held his shape better than Chris throughout the entire show. Chris was seen letting himself breathe, and sometimes you can even see his gut showing, which isn't a good look for a champion.
Not a single second on stage you could waste just hanging around and breathing and relax. You have to nail every fucking second.
At the end of the day, this is classic physique, not classic bodybuilding. Chris Bumstead is the definition of classic with his shape and flow. That's why he deserved the win. His height and proportions gave him the edge in this division for years. But I will say this, the competition was closer than anyone expected.
But listen, Chris didn't win every shot.
No. Every one of us know. You compete every year, 5-6 years in a row. I don't care. You start slipping. You start slipping. I couldn't even believe that Mike came close like that. I don't know. For me, I kind of like him over everyone. Yeah, I like Mike.
During the last comparison, I mean, Mike made me a believer that maybe he can take it.
Mike won some of the poses, and if we were judging body part by body part, Mike could have won. But his competition was C-Bomb, a 5-time champion. And if you wanna dethrone him, it has to be a lot more convincing.
Chris won by split decision. In men's classic physique, they only judged in the morning. And when I watched the evening routine, it was apparent to me that Mike had made major improvements. For a second, it had me worried. In particular, when they called them both out on stage alone, I thought, what if this guy beats Chris? It's certainly possible. But no, they weren't even rejudging the weight class. The judging had been done in the morning. But imagine if they had rejudged it at night. We could have witnessed the greatest upset of all time.
Queiroz was giving him a hard time about his socks.
And I have to buy him a dinner.
Yeah, I guess
because I put him in the top 6 and he said he's going to be in the top 5.
So 3 dinners.
3 dinners.
Oh, 1 dinner shared by 3 guys. Which way you want it?
I'm gonna win the bet anyway.
Looking ahead, the division will be even more exciting after Chris retires.
If Chris Bumstead retires next year, I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about Ramon. They're going to be talking about Urs and Mike. That's going to be the battle for the title.
I believe 99% is going to be Chris last year. So he will say thank you, he will leave, and the spot is wide open. Everyone this year will fight for actually 25 to get the momentum and the top spot to win the Olympia. This is what everyone is doing. This is why Wesley, Ramon, Urs, everybody will bring their A game for a reason.
What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. See you in the next one. Peace.